1 week before saying I do, he received a message that shattered everything. A single sentence that turned love into doubt, and a wedding into a countdown to betrayal. Tonight, on Breakup Cheater, we unravel the story of a man who discovered the truth when it was almost too late. I stared at the message on my phone, my thumb hovering over the screen as if touching it might change the words that had already burned into my mind. I spent the night with my ex, but nothing happened between us. That's what she wrote. No context. No explanation beyond that flimsy sentence. And the worst part, we were getting married in 7 days. I could hear the clock ticking on the wall of my apartment, loud, deliberate, like a countdown to a life I was no longer sure I wanted. My heart pounded, my mouth went dry, and for the first time in the 3 years we had been together, I didn't know what to say to her. I didn't reply. Not yet. Instead, I tried to steady my hands as I read the message again, hoping I had misunderstood it, that there was something missing. A joke, a context, a reason. But it was just those words, sitting in the chat like a landmine I'd accidentally stepped on. A week before the wedding. 7 days until I stood before our families, our friends, and promised to love her forever. And this was how she chose to tell me. Called her. Lena. My voice cracked when she answered. What is this? I knew you'd react like this, she said, her tone somewhere between apologetic and defensive. Can we meet? It's not what it sounds like. It sounds like you spent the night with your ex. So unless you've started writing riddles, it sounds pretty damn clear to me. Just meet me tonight, okay? I'll explain everything. Please, Daniel. When she showed up at my apartment, she looked different. Not guilty exactly. More like she was carrying a burden she had convinced herself wasn't that heavy. She sat down, folding her hands in her lap like a child waiting for judgment. Start talking, I said. She inhaled deeply. It was 2 nights ago. I ran into Adrian at a mutual friend's get-together. We talked, just talked, Daniel. I had too much to drink, and I didn't want to drive home. He offered his couch. That's all. You couldn't call me. You couldn't Uber. You couldn't stay with anyone else. I didn't think it would matter if nothing happened. Her voice cracked, and I hated that part of me still wanted to comfort her. The same part of me that now felt like a fool. For the next few days, I walked around like a man split in two. One part of me wanted to believe her. Lena had never given me a reason to doubt her before. We had built our relationship on small acts of trust. Late-night study sessions during grad school, weekends spent building IKEA furniture in our first tiny apartment, the way she had been there for me when my father passed. But the other part of me, that part whispered in my ear at night when I couldn't sleep. Why didn't she tell you the same night? Why hide it until a week before the wedding? And why did I feel deep down that there was more to the story? 3 days before the wedding, I got my answer. It wasn't from her. It was from a mutual friend, Josh, who texted me. Hey man, heard about you and Lena. I didn't think Adrian would do that, especially now. Froze. My fingers flew over the screen. Do what? What did you hear? And then it came. The truth I wasn't supposed to hear. That they hooked up. People were talking at the bar that night. She left with him, and they didn't come back until morning. Thought you knew. The room spun. My knees went weak, and I sank into a chair as the air felt sucked out of the world. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. I wanted to believe it was gossip. But deep inside I already knew. Because her message wasn't a confession. It was damage control. That night, I confronted her again. Lena, look me in the eyes. My voice was cold. Did you sleep with him? Her lips parted, then closed again. Her eyes darted away. Daniel, I told you nothing. Stop lying to me. The shout tore from my chest before I could stop it. Josh told me. Everyone at that bar saw you two leave together. So I'll ask one more time. Did you sleep with him? The silence that followed was worse than any scream. Finally, she whispered. Yes. I felt something inside me break. Not like glass shattering, but like a rope snapping after holding too much weight for too long. Why? I whispered. Tears welled in her eyes. I don't know. I was drunk, I was confused. No, I cut her off. You were not confused. You were engaged. You were supposed to be mine. The next day I cancelled the wedding. There's no easy way to unravel months of planning, deposits, guests flying in, families already buzzing with excitement. But somehow, through the numbness and the sleepless hours, I made the calls, sent the messages, faced the questions. Cold feet. Family emergency. Well, betrayal. But I didn't tell them that. Not yet. Lena showed up 2 days later, her face pale, her makeup streaked like she hadn't stopped crying. I made a mistake, she said, standing in my doorway like a ghost. One mistake, Daniel. We can fix this. Please. Fix. I laughed bitterly. You think this is a loose screw on a cabinet door? You slept with him, Lena. And then you tried to lie your way into a marriage with me. I didn't want to lose you, she whispered. You already did. The week that followed was a blur of returned gifts, awkward conversations, and silent nights in an empty apartment that was supposed to be the first home of our married life. But somewhere in that silence, I started breathing again. Because here's the thing no one tells you about heartbreak. It's a kind of clarity. It strips away the illusions, the little stories you tell yourself about loyalty and forever. And in the wreckage, you see people for who they are. Lena didn't fight the breakup for long. Maybe guilt ate at her. Or maybe Adrian was always her plan B. I didn't ask. I didn't want to know. Instead, I focused on the people who stayed. My sister who showed up with takeout and forced me to eat. My best friend who took me out to shoot hoops just so I'd stop staring at the walls. And slowly, I learned to live with the echo of what might have been. Months later, I ran into Lena again at the grocery store. She looked smaller somehow. Not physically, but like someone had turned the light down inside her. She tried to smile. Hi, Daniel. He nodded. Hi. There was no anger left, no screaming inside me. Just a kind of quiet sadness for the life we didn't live. I'm sorry, she said softly. I know, I replied. And I walked away. Was I broken by what happened? Yes. But I also survived it. And I learned something that day when I read that message. The most dangerous betrayals are the ones wrapped in half-truths and soft words. Because it's not just the night she spent with her ex that broke me. It was the lie she wanted me to marry. Trust can take years to build, and a single night to destroy. If this story hit you hard, subscribe for more true tales of heartbreak, betrayal, and the quiet strength it takes to rise again. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your heart guarded.